What's up, Josh Paul Hudson? Yeah, I know. I said I quit, man. I never quit. He doesn't let me quit. It's like I'm the son of God. Like, I don't. It's like not in the cards. Like I quit. You can't quit. You're the bloodline. I quit. You can't quit. You're the heritage. I quit. You're the heir. You can't quit. I quit. I quit. Prince Harry quit. Well, they're an illegitimate king. Oh, okay. Anyway, I want to talk about something that really bothers me, because here's the problem with the church, right? The problem with the church is, in the beginning, they made up this story that Peter was the vicar when John was blessed. So now, all through the ages, they've been trying to fit it to that narrative, which is a false narrative. So they made up, these are traditions based on lies. I'm not saying everything's a lie. I'm not saying that it was all done with malevolence. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying the Christianity is built on false premise, right? And they continue to make up these stories because the stories are better than the reality of what's going on. God is not a God of confusion. They always say it's a mystery. God doesn't make it a mystery. Satan makes it a mystery. God is straightforward with you. That's the first thing where you know that you're wrong. The second thing is, here, let's talk about Joseph. They love Joseph. They love, especially the Catholics. Catholic priests, they love to talk about Joseph. You want to know why? Because there's nothing mentioned about Joseph. They can just make up whatever they want to make it fit in their period that Peter's the vicar. Because they have to go with that, and they know that it's not true. But they're like, well, what if we tell everybody that we lied? What would happen? Well, you don't think God sorted that all out and has it figured out? No, we need the Pope Francis is the vicar, or whatever lie, because all the last 2,000 years of civilization are based off of that. I'm not saying all of it's a lie. I'm not saying Jesus is real. I'm not saying he's not the Son of God. I'm not saying all that. But there's a bunch of stuff that they made up, and they continue to make it up. Why is the only apostle that was actually there, John, the only one who wrote a gospel? Why didn't Peter write a gospel? Why did James just write a letter? Why didn't he write? You want to know why they didn't? Because they did some shit, and I'm not going to get into it right now. They didn't want to put their names on it. So by story to another guy, here, you write this down. That way it can be a mystery. We can stay in power. But anyway, that's another story. They love to talk about Joseph. Joseph, this is what Joseph, this is why Joseph never speaks in the Bible, and it's because Joseph kept his head down. And yeah, that's great, because you want to know why Joseph didn't speak in the Bible? Because none of the apostles ever met him. Like all these new priests and bishops, they like to get the psychology and the French and the Latin and Ecclesiastes of what was with the Greek mythologies, like all that shit. They like to break all that down, except for the part about Joseph. That's the part that they're like, well, what this means is Joseph kept his head down and he did what God told him to do. No, he didn't. He wasn't alive. None of the apostles ever met him. That's why they didn't write about it. It wasn't because Joseph kept his head down. I mean, you guys are just making up stories on, but it's tradition. What tradition made up on him? What proof do you have that Joseph was dead? That's why. Because Peter, in all his greatness, who kicked Mary Magdalene out and John because they're the actual bloodline, would have been like Joseph and blah blah blah. That's why when Moses dies, Michael and Satan fight over the body, and God buries it somewhere. God personally buries it. You want to know why? He didn't want it to become a shrine. If Joseph would have been alive, they'd be like, Joseph. They don't mention Joseph because they never met him. Psychology. I don't know what he would have been mentioned. It's not that he didn't say anything and he kept his head down. It's because he wasn't alive. I know that because I know the facts of my own life. You don't want to know what my stepdad's name was? Joseph. Oh my God, Joseph. Right? Joseph wasn't alive, man. They never heard from him. If they did, they would have bloviated about it. Joseph. They would have told the story of Joseph. He wasn't alive, man. He wouldn't have been. He wasn't alive. That's probably why when Jesus leaves his home. Why did Jesus leave when he was 33? He probably didn't know he was God. He doesn't. You guys made that shit up too. He didn't know he was God when he was 12. I didn't know who I was until I was 44. He was 30. You know, I didn't know. Actually, like 40. I didn't know. When I turned 40. That's when I knew. I didn't know. I was like, what's going on around me? Jesus didn't know. He might have done that stuff I don't know. But you guys, see, that's the problem you guys have. You guys have made up so much other shit to make sure that Peter the Vicar in Rome has the power. You guys have done so much of that shit. You've tainted everything else. And so now, even like Scars, I'm not saying it's on their fault, even like the last, it probably started with 300 AD. But you guys have been taught this stuff, and you guys are trying to connect fucking a round peg into a square hole, and it doesn't fit. And the reason it doesn't fit is because parts of the story are not true. Now, the parts when I tell the story, it all fits together. You want to know why? Because it's the true story. You guys are right. That's why you guys love Joseph. Joseph, he did speak. Yeah, because he wasn't alive. I guarantee you, he would have been at Canaan and we would have heard about it. He was dead. He wasn't alive. He wasn't living. And you know what? Matter of factually, age-wise and that part of the world and everything, he probably would have been dead. You know? You can go science all that shit. Joseph wasn't alive. He wasn't. Who knows when he died? That's why there's no great sayings from Joseph, because he wasn't alive. He wasn't around. He wasn't a part of the Godhead. He wasn't there for it. It would have interfered. Anyway, Josh Paul Hudson.